welcome back. Happy New Year and hope you've all had a lovely Christmas. I have been threatening for a while to do episode 2, and if you have a chronic illness or know somebody with one, you'll know that things never go as planned. So I've been bitting and batting, doing odd bits here and there, little updates, bonus episodes, until I can get to record the actual episode with my mum. I thought I would just crack on and just do an episode, and my mum's episode will have to be episode 3, unless obviously, as things happen all the time, stuff keeps getting in the way. We have to have our energies matching at the same time as well for it to be possible. So I just thought, let's crack on. So here we go, episode 2. So I thought we'd probably talk about Christmas and New Year and what it's like with the illness such as chronic fatigue. I'm going to also carry on a bit with my story, but it'd be lovely to get my mum's perspective on that, just for a different view of what other people saw and felt, as it was really emotional for the whole family. So we'll just concentrate on Christmas and New Year. So I'm quite conscious that I keep saying "so" a lot. I don't actually say it when I'm talking normally. I'm trying not to say it now, but so I'm obviously just saying it a lot because I'm recording, which is weird. I'll try and cut it out. I've had quite a nice Christmas and New Year. It's been very quiet, a very limited amount of fun. Luckily, I don't have any young children, and I've recently finished work. I was working. I worked full time when I first got chronic fatigue, and I've tried reducing hours. I tried being off on the sick for a long time and going back and starting off on small amount of hours and building it up, working from home, all the usual things. And my health was just getting worse and worse and worse, and over the course of the 6 years since diagnosis, what I've done is notice that I'd have a long period of time off work and then go back and build myself back up, only to be even worse. And this was a pattern that was repeating until the point that I had to apply for ill health retirement, and I was luckily enough to understand the processes for things like that, because trying to apply for ill health is really difficult, and we'll cover that at some point because I think that's important for people to hear other people's experiences with it. I use a hell of a lot of ChatGPT to help me, because sometimes I can struggle with finding the words to explain things, and ChatGPT really did help me so much in putting into words what I was thinking or feeling. I recommend that for anybody filling in anything, be it PIP, applying for ill health, because it's not always, especially with ME, chronic fatigue syndrome, it's so difficult to explain what it feels like and to get over how things impact you with this, because it feels so weird. I would put the extreme tiredness, the only way I could describe that to somebody is if you had been pregnant before, and when you in early pregnancy, you get this extreme fatigue that's like nothing you've ever felt before, and it's your whole body, and it's you can't fight it, and it's because you've got a little baby growing and using your body, and that is how the fatigue, I think, sort of feels. And the illness to this is like really bad flu. That's right, but there's also some other feelings and some strange ways to describe the way it feels. And as you can tell, I'm struggling here now, so I'm not even going to try to carry on with that. But that train of thought. So, to get back to my original point, I've said so again. To get back to my original point, I have recently, and I'm talking at the end of November, I've been finished from my job, and the reason was incapacity due to ill health, which then I was able to get my ill health pension because that's how they had to word it. But it's quite devastating to be finished because you're incapable of doing your job. It was just another nail in the coffin, really, for everything that this illness has taken from me. Friends, family, my car, my ability to drive, my independence, my social life, and my job. We're just knocking each one of those things down that normal people take for granted. I took them for granted for a long time. So this podcast is something that helps me feel like I have a little bit of a purpose, because when there's not much going off in your life, and it's not like that's a choice, it's not my choice to not have much going off in my life, it would be the opposite, and I just need something to make me feel like I matter. And that was a long way around of saying that I have finished work, so the lovely feeling over Christmas of not having to worry about having to work, having to have a boss, whether it's a good boss or a bad boss or whatever it is, just not the feeling of not having somebody who I have to ask, can I do this, can I do that, could I have that day off, just little things like that. And not even to mention, well, if I did this today, tomorrow I might not be able to work. It's Boxing Day. This is what I felt in the past. It is Boxing Day when my family might be visiting, because I don't live near my family. I'm away from my family, so they might come and visit. They want to come and visit me Boxing Day, and I have to tell them no because I know the next day I have to work, and I could be too poorly to work just by if they came for an hour or so. So to have all that lifted off me has been amazing. Not everybody's going to be in the position that they can apply for ill health, and don't get me wrong, I'm not wealthy. I've not got loads of money, and my ill health pension is tiny. So life is going to be a real struggle to make ends meet from now on. It really is. But I have not got the choice to work anymore. It's making me too poorly, and I'm ending up with no life and being totally bedbound day and night, not been able to spend any time with my husband and son. So it is a choice I've made. I was lucky enough to get my pension, and now I've just got the worry of making ends meet, which is lovely. So you get the relief from not having to work anymore, but this stress of paying your bills. So I suppose I'll have to send my husband off to charity shops and try and sell stuff on eBay, things like that. But we can be interesting to go through things like that as the podcast goes along, and talk to each other about things that we do to save money, cut corners, help yourself when you're struggling for money. Okay, so I'll take a little break. I'll be back with you shortly. I'm not making any New Year's resolutions. I've decided that. That is my New Year's resolution, not to make any. There's absolutely no point, as chronic fatigue syndrome just makes any plans disappear straight away. I do really want to try and do maybe some paintings again, because I love painting, and I'm hoping that I can do a bit of painting again. And I want to enjoy doing my podcast, little creative projects to keep me busy and give me purpose. So again, I'm hoping that I'm going to get a chance to do things like that, but I'm not setting myself any unrealistic goals, because as soon as I make goals, that's it. I feel let down because I can't do them. It's like if somebody keeps asking you, are you going to come and do this today? Do you want to do that today? Shall we do that today? And every day, so I can't do it. Straight away, my body feels like poorly. And then I just feel like a failure. So I'm learning to never set myself any goals. I'm not saying I don't have any dreams, because for a while there I didn't. But I have some dreams again, and we'll go through those. But I just think it's more realistic not to set myself up to fail and start with small things. And so my resolution is no resolutions, make no plans. I'm going to try and live in the moment. I think that by living in the moment and listening to my body and letting that lead what I do, how I do things, is probably going to be my best option to manage my symptoms and to try and keep at baseline. My baseline, I would say, is, say 10 is extreme pain, and a normal healthy person is at 0. My baseline's always about a 6 or 7. So I'm always got pain throughout my body, or in some part of my body, if not throughout. I always have fatigue, constant. It's always there. It's never leaving me. I never get a day where I don't feel fatigued. It varies. It can be, today's my baseline, so if I laid down and shut my eyes, I could sleep. But if I do that, I won't sleep tonight, so I have to try and keep myself awake all day. So that's my fatigue, that's my pain. What else? It's hard to remember. The brain fog. So it's constant pain, constant fatigue, a constant cold, it feels like I've got. Sometimes when you're listening to me, you might think I sound like I've got a cold. I haven't. It's just that my body imitates having a cold when I don't feel well. Niggling headaches, sore throats, extreme bloated belly. I try to eat really healthy. I have a lot of for dinners porridge or special K with some dried fruit in, or a flapjack, just things like that. And I have that at dinner time, and then at tea time I have a meal, always with fresh vegetables most of the time. That's my alarm's going off there to remember to take one of my medications. Always with fresh vegetables. I don't like pre-made stuff. It makes me feel ill. So I eat healthy, but yeah, I have this massive belly like I'm about 6 months pregnant. And occasionally when it goes down, I think, wow, look at me. I look normal. But most of the time it's huge, so it's obviously my digestion's slow, and some of the medications I take probably don't help. There'll be umpteen amount of new and weird symptoms that I have anyway, but my baseline is pretty much the same all the time. So it's never feeling well, never feeling fit and healthy. I've never woke up or felt later on in the afternoon like I used to do when I was healthy. I've never felt like that for 6 years. In fact, that's a lie. I did feel like healthy once. It was after I had COVID. I didn't catch COVID at all throughout most of it. I caught COVID right at the very tail end. That was the time when if you caught COVID, you could go back to work. Whereas before you had to be off work when it got to the point where they said, if you catch COVID, you can come into work now. That's when I caught it. And I had it quite bad. I was bedbound and everything. And I had it for nearly 2 weeks. And then for about a week after that, I felt really good. And I thought, I kept thinking, I'll not say anything to anybody, but I think my chronic fatigue, my ME, has gone. I think it's gone. And I thought that for a few days. And I thought, I can't believe it. And then I mentioned it to my husband that I was feeling much better. And within a few days, my ME symptoms started to come back. So, I don't know. My body must have been doing something and totally forgot it had chronic fatigue syndrome. Maybe it was fighting the COVID off, and then after it had finished doing that, it might have just took some extra time, and my body was just, I don't know. I'm making this up. I'm making it up. What do you guys think? Write a review for the podcast and put in the comments what you think. If you've had any experiences like that, it'd be so interesting to find out other people's experiences who've got ME, chronic fatigue, things like that, and how they felt after COVID. If you had it, that is. So, this is my point anyway. I'm hoping to stay as much as I can in my baseline and try and build that baseline up a little bit as much as I can. I'm not under any illusion I'm going to be fixed, better, all this, suddenly wake up and feel amazing one day. But if I can just keep the severe PEM at bay as much as I possibly can, I'll be better mentally. Because when I'm so poorly, when you get PEM and you're in that ME episode, an ME crash, whatever you call it, I feel so depressed and so helpless and just beside myself that I really struggle. I really, really struggle mentally with it. So I'm going to try and keep to my current energy level, my emotional headspace, and just hopefully take every day as it comes. Stay in my limits. So again, I'm going to make a New Year's resolution. Actually, it's going to be to stop saying so. Let's move on. My recommendations before we finish up. I have still been loving Lily Allen's album. West End Girl, is it? West End Girl? I think so. I'm still loving it. It's so good. It has the hallmarks of the first album she did years ago that were fantastic. Normally I have Spotify, and I do a huge list of songs and playlists and listen to select songs in a playlist. I never listen to a full album, but Lily Allen's new album, I've listened to it over and over and over and over. The whole thing just flows so perfect. It goes so quickly. I'm enjoying it, and next thing it's finished, like, that was excellent. So I really, really recommend it. Audiobook wise, I've got a new one. I've been doing Samuel Pepys' Diary, and it's a BBC dramatisation of it that I've found with Chris Marshall playing Samuel Pepys, and I'm really enjoying that. It's really fun. I've got that on Audible. What else am I doing? I am watching Stranger Things currently. I've been enjoying it, but I think they've left a too big a gap, definitely, between series, because I've forgot what's gone on before. I don't really care as much about about any of them as I did in the last series, because I loved it. So I thought, right, well, I've loved it so much, I'm going to carry on. But I think I've got 3 episodes to go or something. I don't know. I'm enjoying it, but I just think it needed to be not so big a gap between series. Any films I've watched? I did some Christmas films. I tried the new Keith Sutherland Christmas film, which was okay. I like Keith Sutherland. I've always been a fan of him. It's Jack Bauer, isn't it? So, love 24. Might be worth a rewatch at some point. So there's my recommendations. And I just want to thank you all for listening and sticking with me. And hopefully, fingers crossed, episode 3 we'll have my mammy on, my Irish mammy. Although she doesn't sound Irish. She came to England when she was very young, and at that point the Irish weren't particularly looked on very well, so she tried to cover her accent as quick as possible. But she's got a really interesting story. It'd be nice to get her perspective on my illness, what she thinks and feels about it, what she saw, and her own health issues which she's got. So I hope to have her on next, but as you know, things don't go as planned, and here I am doing my episode 2, which she should have been on. But, right, I'm going to say it one last time. So, I hope you all have had a happy new year, and I'll see you in episode 3. Bye guys, bye.